Hey YouTube and vinyl community. I just got back from a trip. I was gone for a week. I'm feeling pretty jet lagged right now. So God knows what will come out of my mouth at this point. So I was in California, Northern California, and I was visiting my parents, which is something that's going to happen a number of times as they're getting older, and I'm needing to take care of some stuff for them. So I did have one day to myself, and I went up to the foothills and went to a record store. And I wasn't planning to buy a lot, but it was interesting to just be in like a regular record store and see what the prices are because things really are, an individual record, it really is like $35 or $40 now, which is just crazy to me. So I looked around, it was, they sold new stuff, but they also still sold used stuff too. So I was just looking around, and I saw this Peter Gabriel. This is not, I had this originally on CD. I've never had it on vinyl. And to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen it on vinyl. I'm not saying there aren't millions of copies of it. I just haven't seen it myself. So it was 1995. It's an OG from 1986. That's what it says. So I just decided it was time to buy it. The cover is in good shape, I'd say BG plus for sure. The record did need to go through the spin clean, and it did this morning. And the other record I bought too also went through the spin clean. They both definitely needed it. So the next record that I bought was Laurie Anderson, Home of the Brave. I have this still on CD. It was a little less. It was $13.95. And I really liked this when it first came out, and I haven't listened to the CD for a long time, but it's a CD that I've listened to just tons and tons and tons. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, and it's not even that expensive, so I grabbed it. Then because I was visiting my parents, I looked at that stash of records that I found the last time I was there, and went through it and decided to bring a few things home, including this Canadian pressing or Canadian release of Walking on Sunshine. I don't know. It says Sundance Records, and I think Sundance Records was in Chico, California, if I'm not mistaken. So how this Canadian pressing got to Chico, I'm not sure. Then I don't remember buying this either. I am, and certainly was, a huge fan of Katrina and the Waves. So I know I can see myself being like, oh heck yeah, I'm gonna buy this. It was $3.99 when I bought it, and I also have this one. So this one you'll definitely recognize. This was, one of the most popular releases of that year. Looks like I bought this at Musicland for $6.99. I remember Musicland was in a mall that was in my hometown. I took a look at the songs on both albums. Now this one is just called Katrina and the Waves. This wasn't called Walking on Sunshine, whereas this record was called Walking on Sunshine. So they're separate records. They're not the same record, but they do have 4 songs that are on both albums. So KT Kiero, Machine Gun Smith, of course, Walking on Sunshine, and Going Down to Liverpool are on both albums, which I just thought was kind of interesting. And I don't know the history of this one at all. I just found it in a closet in my parents' house. So yeah, Stevie Nicks, Belladonna. This is a much better copy than the copy that I repurchased a few years ago. So I'll definitely keep this one. Then Stevie Nicks, Wild at Heart. I just bought another one of these about a year ago. Excuse me. Again, one take Charlie, just one take. It looks like I bought this one at Musicland as well. I'm not sure why I pulled this out, the little price tag. I guess I just didn't want to have a memory of how inexpensive records were back in the 80s. The copy I bought, the cover's a little beat up, but the record itself was in really good shape. So I'll probably, and I think it also had the hype sticker. So I'll probably figure out which is a better copy and then trade one of them at some point. Emmylou Harris, Light of the Stable. This is a Christmas record. I'm no fan of Christmas music. In general, I'm not a Christmas person. So, but this is an Emmylou Harris album that I didn't have. Apparently I picked it up at some point for $4.99 at a place called Disco Mat. I have no idea what Disco Mat was. Will I ever play this? I will sometime probably, but yeah, I'm not very Christmassy, so I just am looking at this as trying to get all of the Emmylou Harris things on vinyl, so I'm just adding this to my collection. Then the Go-Go's, Beauty and the Beat, their first album. I have at least 2 other copies of this. One that I bought within the last maybe 5 or 6 years, and then one that my friend gave to me, so now I have a 3rd copy. You see these all the time, so it's not, I probably won't try and like sell it anywhere. I'll probably just end up having 3 copies of this. You might recognize this one, Janis Joplin, Pearl. For the life of me, couldn't figure out which release this was. I assume it's sort of like from the late 70s or early 80s, so not anything exciting, just some kind of re-release. Then I brought back with me the rest of the Jonies that were there, so I'll just talk about them as briefly as I can. This one and the one behind it both have the name Babcock on them. So apparently this person named Babcock decided they did not require these Joni Mitchell albums anymore. This one, For the Roses, like so many For the Roses albums, is just absolutely trashed. I haven't listened to it. I did put it through the spin clean. I haven't listened to it, so I don't know how crackly and poppy it might be. But I do have a re-release of this that is completely quiet. Here is Joni's first album. Again, you see the Babcock name. Just going to keep on going. Here's Court and Spark. I remember buying this. It was 25 cents. Yes, 25 cents. And it's not really focusing, but it says Boo Boo Records. I don't remember Boo Boo Records at all. I have no idea where that is. I just remember buying this for 25 cents. It's really beat up, but the vinyl, I was surprised when I bought it that the vinyl plays as well as it does. It is a little bit crackly, not scratchy, a little bit crackly, but, for 25 cents, and it's been around my house, or my parents' house, for 40 years. Not bad. Miles of Isles. This is, of course, Joni's first live album, and what's kind of interesting about this is it's on this different Asylum label. I think it's just a second pressing. I don't think it's anything super exciting. Yeah, I think I have 3 copies of these now. Hissing of Summer Lawns, one of the best albums ever made. Apparently I paid $3.99 for it at Sundance Records, which again I think was in Chico, California. Many interesting things about this album. One of them is that this little house right here that is not gray like the rest of them. It's this kind of aqua color. That is the house that she grew up in Saskatoon. When I was in Saskatoon a number of years ago, I did the whole Joni tour, including going to this house, and I stopped and took some pictures. And, I mean, I didn't get out of the car or anything, but, I just stopped, and there was someone in the kitchen that was looking out at me, and I'm sure every single day. The person in the kitchen looking at is like, oh God, someone else driving by this house. But anyway, yeah, this album, if you don't know it, if you're not sure if you want to start listening to Joni Mitchell or anything, this is a great one to start with. It is just a brilliant, brilliant album. This album is called Don Juan's Reckless Daughter, and the reason that I'm saying that is because the last video I made, I could not think of the title of this album. I am not going to talk too much about Art Nouveau. You know, I hope that Joni looks back on it and thinks, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. You know, it's maybe she did mean it to be like an homage, but nope, not okay. That said, this album is brilliant. I love this album so much. This is the album that Charles Mingus heard when he was like, you know, I want someone to collaborate with. let's pick Joni. Listen to this Don Juan's Reckless Daughter and all this jazz stuff. Let's see what she can do. It's probably not exactly like that, but just off the top of my head, that's sort of my recollection. Dog Eat Dog, I talk about this album all the time because I love it. It was completely panned when it came out. It's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful album, and I love it. And I think this is now my third copy of it, so I'm happy to have it. I remember buying this album. When did it come out? 1985, maybe? Is that right? I remember buying this in San Francisco at Tower Records on Columbus Avenue. And I think it was 1985. So yeah, I'm always happy to have Joni. And speaking of Charles Mingus, this one is called Mingus. It has seen better days. The cover has a lot of wear on it. Apparently I paid $3 for it. I don't know where. I have a number of records that have just the little dot with a handwritten price on it, and I don't remember what used record store that was at all. Yeah, so what can you say about Mingus? It's great. It's a great album. It's not my favorite. It's probably one of my least favorite, but I still love it, and I always enjoy listening to it. I think we're already at the last record. Already 13 minutes in. Joni Mitchell, Wild Things Run Fast. Did this come out in 1982? I think it might have. I haven't talked about any of the covers and the fact that she did the paintings, in case you don't know that. So this is a self-portrait. I used to, in the like the mid 80s, I think what I did was I recorded this on a cassette. This exact album, like the actual copy. And I listened to it in my car constantly for months and months and months and months and months. Yeah, so I love this album. I think it's an awesome self-portrait as well. And this Wild Things Run Fast, you know, I always say, oh, this wasn't a very popular album. This was sort of a departure because she had just gotten married to Larry Klein, and she was just so in love. And there's just a whole bunch of love songs on here. And you know, like everyone being like the critics. We're used to Joni, you know, like in Blue, you know, just being, you know, like heartbroken and writing about it. And so as usual, the critics were like, you know, oh, what's this? It's awful. You know, and what it was just different because it was love songs and happy songs for the most part. Not all of them, but you know, because Joni was happy. Let's let Joni be happy, okay? And let's acknowledge the genius that she is. Can we just do that? Like, finally we did, but we had to wait until Joni became 80 years old. Anyway, this is the last one that I brought back. I just listened to a few of them so far, and it's just been really cool to you know, find this little treasure trove of records. And even though I've like repurchased a lot of them, it's still cool because, like, you know, I don't remember buying this exact one, but like I remember buying, just gonna pull it out one more time. Let's talk about Dog Eat Dog again. I do remember buying this. Columbus Avenue in San Francisco. I remember being there and buying this. Maybe the day it came out. Yeah, so I mean, it's just like, I know that this particular album is one that I bought, you know, more than 30 years ago, more than 35 years ago. So just, you know, buying another copy of it 5 or 6 years ago was great because I finally had it on vinyl again. But having this little stash that I know are the original ones that I picked up is just really cool for me. It's, like I said, this Court and Spark that I spent 25 cents on. I wish it would focus. It's not going to. Maybe it will. Nope, it won't. Just kind of have to trust me. You know, I can't remember where the store was, but I remember being in the store and seeing this, like as I'm flipping through stuff, I remember seeing this and going, it's 25 cents. Is it going to be all scratched up? But it looked okay. So even though the cover was, had a lot of wear, I mean, you know, the person who sold this played this album to death before they decided to sell it. So, you know, it's just like hand-me-down from one person to another. Like, you know, now it's time for you to discover how great this album is. So, yeah, just finding this stash has been really cool. All right, that's all I'm going to say. I've talked for a long time. So I will catch you next time, Vinyl Community. Peace out.